from again? Where's that? Saskatchewan.
I guarantee I'm one of these. Some of them might come in.
What's that?
And Stephanie has hammer.
There we go. All right, guys. Curl. All right, boys.
And once again,
Okay, like it's official now.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard it. We did, but then David started a second round.
Hello, America and curling fans from Canada and Newfoundland. This is your host, Ryan Olson, bringing you to the latest action from the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. Rocks and Play, we're underway in this clash between two teams from Wine Country Curling. I might be saying Wine Country Clash a lot because there are a large number of Wine Country teams in this field, which is great to see. This rust's a little heavy. Going to settle in the back 12-foot area. This contest is between Team Stefani and Team Betts. Looks like Stefani has the hammer advantage by throwing their stones closer to the center of the house than their opponents. And we are seeing opening stones from both leads from the teams. And that would be, I'll find out in a moment. Excuse me. So we have 10 teams in the field. And just to count them up, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 Wine Country teams in the field as we see Eric Putnam throw his second stone. So Wine Country does have a strong number of entries, followed by Oval Curling of Utah with 3 teams. It's a pretty big field. We had to do pool play with 2 pools of 5 teams each. And that means each team gets to play 4 games before we decide who makes it to the playoffs. So Putnam's second stone is much higher in the house, providing some cover for that first rock. And we're going to see Danny Padilla throw his second stone. This is heavy. I think looking for a takeout weight, just the line was not there. Not on target, as it were. So we're coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling in State Line, Nevada. Sun's out, but it's been a little chilly this morning. Don't think it's affecting the conditions inside the High's house. Next stone coming for Team Betts. That would be Chris Skidmore. The weight looks a little up. But this is a fresh pebble. They conditioned the ice in between the games this morning. And Betts is sitting 3. Really putting the pressure on Stefani here early in the first end. So looking for a takeout. I think looking for a hit and roll. I think really hoping that it's not going to curl that much. As we see a Nick Graff remembering to take off his dripper. That's very important for a good delivery. Looks a little wide. Looked pretty good, but he made an adjustment on his release. It could come back. It looks like it's coming back a good amount. Hits it on the outside. Almost gets the other red in the back of the house. The shooter itself is going to roll out of play. And Betts is sitting 2. So I think just looking to put a rock back up. I think they want to keep it high if they can. Now this is actually going to go deep, and Betts is going to bury it. There'd be a thin double in the back. I don't know if Stefani wants to take it on. I swear the cameras were readjusted during the game, in between the games. Stefani's looking to take on that center red. As you see, Nick get sets. This looks pretty good. It's going to get 1. Is it going to get 2? It jams. So only 1 red goes away. So Betts is still sitting 2. It looks like Betts just wants to peel that blue that was just put up. As Jeff Jones delivers his first. I think it's going to get the blue, it's going to jam it all. It just kisses the red in the back. And the blue goes away. That red in the back sticks around, so his Betts sitting 3 again. So the reds, the key shot stone red is in the back. So it looks like Stefani wants his third. Oh gosh, that was Jeff Jones. This is Jeff Jones. Betts' third is Steve Sampson. I'll get that right. So looking to get around that guard. And once it's around the guard, I think they want to make sure it's buried. It's on the guard. It opens it up though. So that could be counted as a miss, but it had a positive outcome. So it looks like Betts wants to put put a red cover up. As we see Steve Sampson deliver his last shots. We're playing 8 end games, up to 8 ends. Teams can choose to resign early if they wish. Usually the team that's losing resigns. The winning team does not get to say, hey, we're done. Although they can strongly recommend that the losing team, or just make a strong argument that it can concede. These games are being timed. Both teams have 30 minutes of what's known as thinking time. looks like Samson did make that shot. So now the question is, what does Stefani do? I could try and run that red back, and it seems to be what they're looking for. The warm room is letting me know that that's not even Steve Sampson on the ice. He'll be playing tomorrow. I'll update you in next end what's going on. Thank you. So mission accomplished for Stefani. Gets rid of the red cover. The red in the back is still accessible, and it looks like Betts wants to close that door as Hilger. He's playing Vice. Nelson Hilger for Betts. It is helpful when they put their names on the jackets. This is his first. I don't think they want to put up a guard. I think, well, this is tricky. It could be interesting to try and draw around that blue, but you don't want to wreck on the blue. So it looks like it's going to be pretty close. Gets around the blue and only buries about 20%. So they could try to take the double on. I don't. It'd be tricky. They're looking at maybe hitting off of one of the rocks on the sides, but now they're opting to do the take on the red, run the red back onto the red, maybe get rid of both. So the broom's down as Dan Stefani makes his way down the ice. And we have biographical information of a lot of these players that I'll mention as we get into the game. Dan's first here with the hammer in the first end. Needs to maybe curl up a bit more. This is hanging out. And it's not going to make contact with anything, it appears. So that's a tough miss because it definitely puts Betts behind the 8 ball. Sorry, Betts is doing great. Stefani is behind the 8 ball. I would argue that it's early in the morning, but it's not that early anymore. There's 2 games on the ice, by the way. This is our featured game on sheet A. Shifting over to sheet number B. We have a contest between Team Hernandez and Team Barents. And they are, one's from Hollywood and the other one's from Orange County. So Team Burns is from OC and Hernandez is from Hollywood. As Betts delivers his last. This looks to be a little up, but it could accomplish something pretty useful for bets. Actually ends up in a really great place. That's, I think, what they wanted. So facing 5, Dan Stefani's opting to draw. I think hoping to get fully to the 4-foot red ring and score a single point. This is the hammer coming from Dan Stefani. You're in the first. This is perhaps a path that teams haven't yet been on. This is hanging out. Is it going to be on the guard? It crashes on the guard. Disaster. And that looks to be a huge steal for bets to open up the scoring. And some fist bumps all around from Team Bets. We'll wait till they officially post the score, but that looked like 5. So we'll check the score and we'll see the action in the second end when we come back to the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns. Coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. And today's event is being brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. DoubleTakeout.com is a curling aficionado's dream website. Throughout the competitive curling season, proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the site with stats, insights, and more, creating a custom ranking of the top men's and women's and mixed doubles teams from around the world. Check it out today at DoubleTakeout.com. And that score was indeed a 5 spots. The crookedest of numbers for Team Bets. As we see Eric Putnam get set for the first rock of the second end. Eric's been curling for 2.5 years. Some of his accomplishments include the 2024 Lake Tahoe Epic Curling Spring Spiel. His team finished in 3rd place. Also at the Barrel Bonspiel at Wine Country this spring was the A event runner-up. And this route goes deep again. So far it goes out of play. Heading into this event, teams were kind of asked to rank their opponents, and that was done to help seeding for this event. And based on the seeding, I can tell you that Betts was ranked 3rd, and Stefani was placed in the 6th position. And I can also tell you, I haven't seen the numbers from this seeding, but there can be a very, very small variations between the teams. It can be a very near thing between what team is number 1 and what team is number 10. As we see Putnam's next rock coming down the way. So that seeding helps determine how the pools are broken up to try and keep the pools as balanced as possible. Putnam's rock clips the blue on the side. Both rocks go out of play. Next stone coming from the first for Stefani. And that would be Danny Padilla, known by his teammates as Emergency Todd or Handsome Todd. Danny has been curling since the summer of 2021. This is his first regional playdown event. As the rock goes a little heavy, it's going to sit down in the back 12 foot, the red ring. And this is kind of playing into Betts' hand to try and keep an open house, an open sheet, which is solid defensive play when you're up 5. As this is Chris Skidmore's first, going to hit, and the shooter's going to roll out of play. So there's different ways to play curling, of course. You know, we do call it skee ball on ice. Actually, no one's called it skee ball on ice before. That's new. Anyway, it's chess on ice. We see Nick Graff throwing his first. Nick's been in multiple recreational and competitive leagues at Wine Country, his home club. His accomplishments include a MoPac 5 and under B event runner-up, a 25 and under B event runner-up, and a Crush of Bonspiel C event winner from 2022. And that one goes sailing through the house, much like an errant child from the classic comic strip Family Circus. This is Chris's second. Chris has been curling for 5 years. He was a skip at the 2024 Rocket City Curling Club's Dragonspiel, finishing with a silver. Also an A event runner-up, playing second at this year's Barrel Bonspiel at Wine Country. Wine Country is pretty vast, so Wine Country for curling purposes is suburban Sacramento. The northeastern part of the region. They curl out of a facility called Skate Town. A little bit of a wobble. Looking for some takeout energy. And makes contact, keeping a clean sheet. So as I mentioned before, there's many different ways to play this game. There's basic offense, basic defense, and a mixed approach. The most successful teams will be a mixed approach, but if you're playing defensive curling, you want to have as few rocks in play as possible, and that is what Betts is doing right now by putting rocks in the house, but then when their rock is replaced, they hit theirs out, or hit their opponent, Stefani's out. And as a result, if they play the strategy well, the most Stefani can score in an end is a single point, which is not conducive to getting back into this game. To play an offensive strategy in curling, you want to have more rocks in play, so you would try to put up guards in the early part of the end, and then later try to bury rocks around the guards, so then you have chances to score multiple points, and that's solid offense. And as I mentioned before, the best teams, especially at the top competitive level, will do a blend of, I think, kind of knowing when to be offensive, when to be defensive. That's a flash there from Nelson. No, sorry, that's Jeff Jones for Stefani. So this could be a situation where Betts has one in the house, and so they're looking to press their advantage. I think by looking to hit the red in the house and let it roll to the side, and have the shooter also roll to the opposite side. As we see Nelson Hilgar's shot make it down the ice. And apologies for getting some of the names confused. I appreciate being told about the lineup change. This is a bit heavy. So the opportunity to press the advantage has been missed, and so now Stefani is going to try to hit the stone out. And you might ask, why is Stefani throwing hits? And part of it could be to try and set up a situation where they can score multiple points, or recognizing that it would be very difficult to score multiple points at this end, keep a clean sheet so they'd have a chance to blank the end, and then they would have the hammer in the next third end. And that was Jeff's second there. So now it's Betts' turn to play the takeout game. I guess in Britain they would call these carryouts as opposed to takeouts. David Betts has been curling for 6 years. Some of his accomplishments include the B-event winner as skip at the Lake Tahoe Epic Curling Spring Spiel this year. Hits made, it sticks around, the shooter does. So I mentioned teams have 30 minutes of thinking time. If a timeout is necessary, teams have one 1 minute timeout to stop the clock and talk over their shots. Otherwise, if they run out of time, they run out of game. Need to double check, but I do believe in the situation is if you run out of time, you lose. As we see Dan Stefani just sitting in the hat, asking for less ice. Among fun facts for Dan, he likes curling. End of list. There's more. I'll get to it later. Looking for a hit, maybe a bit of a roll toward the inside. You don't want to roll wide. This looks to be close to a nose hit, though. And actually, the shooter is going to roll to the edge of the 12 foot on the left there. So Betts wants to take them on. Looking at the overhead. It's in the corner of the monitor that it's hard to see. I think it might be biting, but we'll see if it comes to it. So this is Betts' last without the hammer here in the second. Looks like it's going to make contact. Where's the shooter going to end up? It's going to go through the house, out of play. And so Stefani has an open shot for not sticking around. He wants to throw through the house to get a blank and carry the hammer to the next end. This is the last rock here. The hammer looking for a blank. Got that solid control weight, it looks like. That's really curling. And that is going to be a blank. And Stefani's going to carry the hammer to the third end. The first blank of the tournament. And we'll be back in just a moment with Team Betts up 5-0 over Team Stefani as this wine country clash continues from the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. And we are back to the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. Seeing some solid curling play from both teams, although it is Team Betts that jumped to a huge advantage, stealing 5 in the first end. And Stephanie's trying to generate multiple points. Not seeing that opportunity in the second end, opted to blank the end and carry the hammer into the third. And that's where we're at right now. As we see Danny get set for his seconds. His fun fact is that he has yet to throw a guard short of the house. Which may not be the best thing for a lead. You definitely want guards to be between the house and the hog line. That's the guard zone. And he does put up a corner guard. It's protecting those Betts reds in the house. But the shot red from Betts is behind the tee line, so Stephanie can put something in front of that later. As we see Chris deliver his first. We are keeping track of all the games on the ice beyond the feature sheets, which is the sheet A game between, again, Stephanie and Betts from Wine Country. We have the SoCal Clash happening on sheets 2 or sheet B. We have Team Hernandez and Team Barents. Team Barents of Orange County stole the first end. And looks like they just finished the second end. We'll hopefully get an update soon. But all those scores are being posted to bondspieler.com. Also, that's where you can check out a schedule and standings and more, all at bondspieler.com. This route goes wide, out of play. So again, Betts definitely has an advantage brewing here in the third. Going to force Stephanie to try and generate something. As Skidmore throws his last of this third. He's been to multiple events. I mentioned the Rocket City and the Wine Country Barrel Bonspiel. He also was at the Evergreen Curling Bridgetown Bonspiel outside of Portland, Oregon. And also the Portuguese Mixed Doubles Curling Club, claiming silver. And it's really great to have a large number of international players or players with national ties in MoPac. It's great to see players from Mexico and Philippines and Nigeria compete. Definitely helps show how widespread curling can be and how we can all find fun and enjoyment in such a global sport. So it looks like we're going to try that takeout again for Stephanie. It's going to get one. Where's it going to roll to? Just a slight roll. It looks like it's going to be pretty open for Betts to take on. Running the possible risk of jamming on the red in the back. So it looks like Betts maybe looking at tapping that red that he just tapped. So instead of using a broom, he's going to use a stone to tap it back. As Nelson Hilger gets set. This is going to be close, I think. They're sweeping on it. The issue is the guard, and it does indeed crash on the guard. So it starts to open things up in the middle for Stefani to try to generate some offense. Looking to take on that red in the top 8 foot. As we see Jeff throw. He has back-to-back Gentlemen's Division wins at the Granite Curling Club. It's one, and the red gems in the back there. So he has back-to-back Gentlemen's Division wins at the Granite Curling Club's California State Championship. Also was part of the winning team of the 2024 Spring Thin Air Spiel here at Lake Tahoe. This is Nelson's last. I think looking to just kind of put the rock back that was hit out. You don't want to be too deep and create a possible double for Stefani to take on. And this actually is going to end up a bit deep. And it's pretty frozen. So actually that's a good alternate outcome. I don't know if that's what bets have drawn up. Betts is sitting 2. And Stefani has the 3rd and 4th stones further out. I think looking to unlock those reds. This is over curling though. Gonna crash on the guard. The shooter's gonna roll into the house and settle in around the tee line, just above the tee line, in the outer 8-foot ring on the right. And the rings are measured based on the diameter. So we are back to skip stones, just like that. And it looks like, I think Betts is going to put another one on top of those reds that are already in the house and counting. Some other accomplishments for Betts includes the A-event runner-up, a skip at the barrel. This is going to look pretty good, actually. Settles in just above the 8-foot. It looks like Stefani is going to take him on. I think he almost has to. He needs to open things up and try to generate multiple points here. There's no blank anymore. There's too many rocks in play. So that's where he's got the broom as he hustles down the ice. So Dan was at the 2024 Hive Glow Spiel It's the Hive Bonspiel. We have a glow spiel event. It's at the Oval Curling Club in Utah. He's throwing some heat here. Let's see what happens. Gonna get 1, 2, maybe just 1. Clears it up though. The shooter itself rolls into the pile on the right. So if Betts makes the same type of shot, it's going to be super hard for Stefani to clear those 2 reds in the center. And then opens up a steal possibility for Betts. But also Betts has been stealing this entire game. This is Betts' last rock here in the third without the hammer. Weight looks pretty good, maybe a little up. If they draw into the pile, it's going to be super hard for Stefani to get all these rocks moving. And so it does go a little deeper than the last one. And I think Stefani has to take it on. Like even if there's a missile at it, I think it's unlikely to get all 3 rocks moving. I think you can get 2 and be content to give up a single. Otherwise, you might be giving up 2 or 3. So I think that's going to be the call as Stefani heads to the hack. So I mean, the worst case scenario, what's the worst case? The least optimal scenario is clearing that red that Betts just put up and giving up 2. Ideally, you run the red back into the pile, kick out that back red, and have the top red kind of roll toward the right, hopefully beyond the blues. Tough shot coming for Dan Stefani. It's going to over curl a bit, and does only pushes the red back slightly. So it is going to be a steal at 2. So that least optimal scenario did come into play. But you know, the bright side is it could have been a steal at 3. So I'm going to pause for a hydration break and be back in just a moment when we return to the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. Welcome back to the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. As we get set to start the 4th end, just a heads up that we do take a 5-minute break in between the 4th and 5th ends. And I usually kind of talk about what might be happening in the warm room because, you know, we had like Laser Floyd here one time. I think we're going to do Laser's Taylor Swift during the 5-minute halftime show. We only have time to play like a medley of 3 or 4 of her songs, but they're 3 or 4 of the best songs from her latest album, I guess. And also the lights are on the entire time. So it kind of diminishes the impact of the laser show, but still lasers. And Taylor Swift. Coming up at the halftime break after this ends. We got Danny throwing again. Danny did mention that his nicknames are Emergency Todd or Handsome Todd. Dan's biography notes that he is missing his regular team lead, Todd, and hopes he's back in 2025 for all the much needed appeal weight shots required by a lead. And fun fact, leads don't normally throw peel weights. At least, for a lot of the game. There are some situations where you might need to throw peel weights, but not usually in the lead position. This is Putnam's second rock after Padilla put up a corner guard. This one's going to be going a little deep. It might sit on top of the red that's already in the back 4-foot. Ashley sits down just above the 4-foot ring on the center line. So they're looking at their options for Team Stefani. They could try to hit and roll the red and roll under cover, but it looks like they're opting to just draw behind the cover that Padilla just put up. Supers are really pounding that ice. Looks like it's going to be close. It's going to be around the guard. How deep is it going to get and how much cover is it going to get? And I have to say, pretty good from Danny Padilla. It does appear to be about 80% exposed. So, like, Betts could choose to take it on, and he's looking at it, looking for hack weights. For Chris Skidmore. Putnam's trying to hold the line. It's going to crash on the corner guard. So the corner guard does its job. And then you are seeing the guard being put back in place. That's an example of the 5 rock free guard zone rule. So for the first 5 rocks of an end, you can't remove an opponent's guard from the field of play. Doing so means that you lose your shooter, and then the original stone, the original guard, is put back in place. And then we're also playing with the no tick rule, which is kind of an addition to the free guard zone rule, where a center guard can't be dislodged from that line for the first 5 rocks of the end. It can be kind of pushed down the line, but it can't be dislodged off the line. If that happens, the non-offended team can choose what happens. Either they can let the rocks play out, or leave them where they played out, or remove the offending rock and reset the guard. So one of the reds went away, and Skidmore is being asked to try and take out that blue stone in the house again. And mission accomplished, and the shooter's going to roll into the red in the back 4-foot. All right. Trying to get back up to the situation here. Looks like Stephanie was able to remove one of the reds, but Betts is still sitting in one. And we are going to see what Nelson has to offer here with his first. I think looking to put a rock in the house about top 8 foot, just based on where Betts has the broom. Maybe we're going to go a little deep. Settles in the 4 foot. Does create a possible double situation, but that might not help Stefani too much, so he's looking at hitting and rolling towards the right. As we have Jeff deliver. Gonna hit one red and roll actually the other way. Rolling towards the left here, towards the back 8. Mostly in the 12-foot red ring. So Betts is going to ask Nelson to take it on. Looks pretty close, maybe a little wide, and it does make enough contact to get that blue out of play. So Stefani's kind of in a tricky situation. He has 3 rocks remaining, and if he gets rid of the Betts rock, where does he try to put the shooter from Jeff Jones? Looks like it's going to hit, and I think the shooter's going to actually roll out of play. So that unfortunately answers the question of where to put the shooter, and I don't think he wanted to roll out of play. Updating the Sheets B game. So after Team Barents of Orange County scored a single, Team Hernandez from Hollywood scored 2 with a hammer in the second and then stole 2 in the third. The score, as they're about to finish the 4th end, is 4-1 Hernandez over Barents. So with a pretty wide open house, Betts is opting to, I think, try to draw around the guard or put a rock near the guard on the right side. This is going to end up a bit deep. So Betts I think needs to try to start generating some offense. So I would think maybe trying to draw on top of the red. I mean, then Betts could just draw on top of Stefani's stone, but if Betts were to miss, then Stefani would have a chance to score 2. I think the shot that they're trying to do is to try to hit the red and then roll slightly under cover, which seems like a good shot. So Dan's traveled to 7 countries with his CrossFit group, having been to places such as Pompeii, Machu Picchu, the Castle in Edinburgh, Kodiak Island in Alaska, Thailand, and Bali. This is going to hit. Where's it going to end up? Ooh, that was really close. So the shooter looks like it rolls just outside the rings. So then, if Betts were to do a very similar shot, then Stefani would be really forced to score a single point here. Going for a draw. David Betts is last here without the hammer in the 4th. Looking for a draw. Getting around that corner guard. Looks like it might be close. It's really swinging. And so they're off. I think that they don't want to promote that blue into the house. So it looks like Stephanie's going to throw another blank. Because I don't think that blue's in the house. And he is throwing a weight to go through the house out of play. And so it looks like it's going to be a blank. And so Stephanie will carry the hammer for the 4th time, the 5th end, pardon me. He's had the hammer this entire game. So we're going to take a pause. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes as our coverage continues from the 2024 MoPac men's Playdowns. Men's Arena Playdowns coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling.
David, that's still my favorite. Fourth time. He's watching on his phone. He said, how did he know?
Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. We are halfway through Draw 2. A pool play, we're going to have a total of 10 draws today and tomorrow. The game times are the same Friday and Saturday. So if you tuned in this morning at 8:30 or 11:45, tune in again Saturday and you'll see more curling action. Curling coverage continues later today at about 3 o'clock. Our feature game will be the defending champions, Team Gilbert, taking on Team Chen. Gilbert hails out of the Oval Curling Club of Utah. That's my home club. And Team Chen is out of Orange County. And check out that action starting at about 3 o'clock this afternoon on the MoPac YouTube channel. And then later games tonight include a 6:30 draw featuring Team Barents of Orange County taking on Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling. And then the nightcap, some MoPac After Dark action will be Team Fry of Wine Country taking on Team Hernandez of Hollywood. So lots of curling, and I will be here for every draw, whether you want me to or not. So Betts puts up a classic center guard. Stefani, I think, looking to try and generate some offense, is opting to, I think they had hoped to draw around, ended up with another centerish guard. That red guard from Putnam is on the center line, so the no-tick rule would apply to that stone. So here's Putnam's seconds. And so you can hit your own rocks. You just can't hit the opponent's stones in the guard zone out of play or on the center line, off the center line. And this looks to be a pretty solid draw. It's going to finish really nicely there. Not quite get buried. So to do a scoring recap, Team Betts stole 5 in the opening end and hasn't looked back since. Team Stefani, trying to generate some offense, opted to blank one end and then was forced to give up 2 before blanking the 4th end. And that's where we're at right now. The score 7 for Betts and Stefani 0. Looking at the other sheets, sheet number B, the contest between Team Barents of Orange County and Team Hernandez of Hollywood. Let's go to bondspieler.com. That's your source and my source for curling scores. And let's see here, do they post the score? Yes, they did. Okay. So looks like I say they post the score. They posted the score on the ice. Looks like Team Barons scored 2 in the fourth to draw within 1 of Team Hernandez. Hernandez is currently holding a 4-3 lead, and they will have the hammer in this fifth end. Playing up to 8 possible ends. Teams can choose to resign if they feel like they've had enough. And it looks like Bess is putting another rock into the house. Could set up a double if Stephanie chose to take it on with Nick Graff. They're really talking over their shot here. I'm curious about. I think they're looking at maybe the double, and that is where Dan has the broom down for. The shot that he has the broom down for. So Nick pushed out. I think he kind of tried to adjust and push the stone in. It looks like a good adjustment. It's going to make contact. And into 1 and gets the second stone moving. Is it going to get out of the way? And it does get out of the way. Let's take a look at the replay. And push the stone in. It looks like a good adjustment. It's going to make contact. And into 1 and gets the second stone moving. Is it going to get out of the way? And it does get out of the way. Let's take a look at the replay. So that was a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Looks like we got Chris Skidmore throwing his second. And there's a lot of center guards, and it looks like Chris is trying to take advantage of that, but crashes on the top blue guard. So this could generate something for Team Stefani, something he's been waiting for this entire game. I don't know if that blue on the edge is counting or not. It looks like it from this side-on view. So we got Jeff Jones. Was that Nick's second? That gets around the guard. It's going to settle into the top 8 foot. That was Nick's second. Good sweeping as the sweepers for Team Stefani exchange some fist bumps. It's really good to see the camaraderie, teamwork, and good communication are such an important part of this game. And if you do watch curling on TV, that's not MoPac. The players are mic'd. You do get to hear the communication between the players. Looks like they're opting to try to maybe hit one of the bets reds in for team bets. As Nelson Hilger just sets. Looking for a raise. Just like me on payday. Looks like it's gonna crash. Does kick the red guard into the house for second shots. So Stefani could hit that and roll. So that's what he's looking at. And then really this could be the best opportunity that Stefani's seen this entire game. I think they asked for control weights for Jeff Jones. Sweeper's really pounding that ice, and it might not be enough. Okay, does get the red. Oh, and it jams on that blue in the right there. And that blue needs to go away on the right. The black line is the boundary. So and also in the rules of curling, when a rock touches the sideline or where the sideline would be, it's out automatically. So it looks like there's Stefani coming to take it out. It's kind of deceiving because the boards are right there. And so you think, oh, it can hit the boards, but like, no, if it touches the line, it's out. This is Nelson's last. Stefani's sitting one buried. And I think Nelson wants to draw around those center guards and out count that blue on the left. This is coming up just a little heavy though. Stefani's going to be able to push it toward the back 12 foot. So Stefani pointed to the blue shot stone. And it looks like he wants to try and beat Betts behind the cover of the center guards. So other notable achievements for Jeff include being defeated by Olympians on multiple occasions in the sport of curling, but beating Skip Dan multiple times in the sport of disc golf. So. I think he wanted a bit more curl. This is going to settle in. Actually, not in a bad place. It looks like he's out counting that red in the back. So Stefani is sitting 2 now. But that draw path to the button, at least the inner 4 foot ring, the path to the button's open. So Hilder has the broom down for a draw. I think looking for that elusive draw around those center guards. First rock for Skip David Betts. It's not really curling that much down this path. I mean, they've tried different lines, different paths to try and get around those center guards and not really found the right path. So it does put that red in a pretty tricky situation. Because Stefani could choose to ignore, but there's the danger that Betts could tap that red up for his last. So it looks like I think they're going to try and hit it and maybe roll under the guards that way. So toward the left from this view. This is Dan Stefani's first here. Looking to generate some offense. Get some multiple points on the board. It's going to be close. It's going to hit. Where's it going to roll to? Ooh, it gets the... ooh. Gets a lot of rocks moving. I do want to see the replay on that. Got like four reds moving. It's gonna be close. It's just gonna hit. Where's it gonna roll to? Ooh, it gets the it gets a lot of rocks moving. So it looks like he got 4 red rocks moving. At the end of it, though, it is still Stefani sitting 2. But a lot of cleanup, you know, must have called the Minute Maids there. So that was a lot of housekeeping. So I think just a draw. I think maybe the plan was to draw onto the blue in the back. They're trying to push it over. Doesn't get there. So now Stefani has a hit for 3. It's a pretty open shot. They just need to make sure that the red doesn't jam on the blue in the back. I'm not really seeing any way to bring that blue in the top of the house into play. And also, you don't want to be greedy necessarily. You want to score multiple points to try and get back in this game, but don't want to have to try a miracle shot to get 4 when 3 will almost halve the lead that Betts has. Dan Stefani with some chance for 3. Just clean hits and stick for 3. The sweepers are just, one's cleaning it. It's kind of hanging out. This could be a bit of a disaster. Oh, wow. So it did jam on those stones in the back. And a chance for 3 turns into a score of 1. So not the outcome they were looking for. But Stefani's on the board. And we'll take a quick pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. So the Arena Playdowns are just part of the MoPac region's season of Playdowns to qualify teams for championships. Coming up later this fall and early winter, we're going to have the mixed 4s, men's and women's combined, in the middle of December at Coyotes Curling. And then we'll have men's and women's club playdowns in the middle of January at San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And we'll have information posted on the MoPac website and the MoPac Facebook page. And as I mentioned, these are playdowns for the national championships. The winner of this event and the winner of the women's event last month, Team Aces Silicon Valley Curling, will advance to the Arena National Championship, taking place at the Wausau Curling Club later this fall. It's a great event from what I've heard. I've never been. My team qualified after club playdowns, but then something happened in 2020. I don't know. It didn't get off the ground, so 2020 just is a blur. So this red rock from Betts is going to slip into the house about tee line. Stefani put up a center guard for the first shot, and it's on the center line. So the no-tip rule is in effect as Danny gets set. This rock looks to be more of guard weight. Is it going to actually get across the hog line? And the answer is no. So that is what we call a hogged rock in the curling biz. The rock has to fully cross that hog line to remain in play. So just an unfortunate miss there from Danny. This is Eric's second rock. It looks like they're going to try and split the reins by drawing toward the left from this view. And that's a pretty common tactic to try to generate multiple points, because it's hard for teams to take care of both stones on opposite ends of the house. And that was a great draw there from Putnam. So it looks like Stefani's opting to ignore that for now, asking Nick Graff to draw around. This is going to just be a smidge heavy, and I think it might go through. It's actually going to park itself on the line between the 8-foot and the 12-foot areas. Good for second shots. And so Betts has the broom down for peeling the guard for Chris Skidmore. And it does clear the guard. It comes close to jamming on that red on the right, but did not, and missed it. So I think Stefani is asking Nick to draw. So rocks, I think, really like to curl towards this wall here. It does tick that guard, and will roll into the house, settling in the back 8-foot, 12-foot area. Good for third shot. And now there's a double possibility for Skidmore and Team Betts to take on. Looking for two. It's going to be close. He just kissed one, and then the other exists blissfully unaware of the doom that it barely avoided. So the situation now is that Betts is sitting first and third stones, and Stephanie is sitting 2 and 4. We're gonna try that draw again.
Apologize to your followers on YouTube.
There might have been some salty language. If so, I apologize. Just a little heavy. Goes through the house out of play. So it looks like Betts wants to take on that second blue stone on the left from this view, as Nelson just ready to deliver. It's like a pretty good release there. It kisses the blue and with enough energy to get it to the back line. So just like the hog line, the stone has to fully cross the line to either be in or out of play. Well, to be out of play in this case. So Jeff Jones is going to try that draw again. A little less weight, maybe a tighter line. This looks better. Still a little up. And unfortunately, I think this might go through the back if it doesn't jam on that blue. And it does jam. So looking at the overhead, I think that blue in the back is the second stone. So Nelson's going to be asked to take that on. This weight looks pretty good. I'm just going to hit it and then no roll. So now Betts is sitting 3, just like that. And Stephanie faces a tricky conundrum. That red that he just tapped could be a saving grace, but you would need to make a really great shot. Because if you were able to draw on top of that red, you would likely be shot, and it'd be hard for Betts to get rid of it. So looking for a draw. This is Dan Stefani with his last, no, his first, pardon me. His first rock without the hammer here in the 6th. A little bit of a wobble. Weight's going to be super important. Jones just threw 2 stones down a similar path, and they were just too heavy. This is also heavy, but they might be wanting to contact the red in the back. If they do, that red goes away. However, Betts can just tap that blue away and then be sitting 3 again. So So this is Betts, the first time his team has had hammer this entire game. Looking for a hit to sit 3 with 1 rock to go for each team. Looking for a hit. This is not coming back. And it flashes that blue. So now Stefani has an out. So it looks like they're looking at maybe draw on top of the red. And so then Betts couldn't, it would be super hard for Betts to get rid of both to store multiple points. And would probably be opting to just draw for a single point, especially based on the scoreboard. I was thinking about putting another blue in a position where it'd be counting as a second shot, or but in a position where Betts couldn't get rid of both blues, and then Betts would be forced to draw for 1 that way. This one makes more sense. This is Team Stefani's last here without the hammer here in the 6th. This one's going to be close. Oh, it's around the guard. Now where's it going to stop? It taps the red back out of play. And so now it creates a double possibility for Betts. Looking to line it up. And I think just based on where where Hildry has the broom, I think they just want to kind of hit it to just the right of the center. Kind of hit that blue slightly to the left and get both blues moving. And then hopefully stick around for 2 points. This is David Betts' last here. Looking for a double takeout for 2. He's got 1. And where's the shooter going to roll up? The shooter rolls away. And that is good for a steal of 1. But that does appear to be all that Stefani has the stomach for. Which is fair because there's only 2 ends left. Okay, maybe not. They are kicking rocks. I'm going to be very patient and not say this game is over. Because I've seen a game where one team shook the other team's hands, but it was merely to congratulate them for a really good shot. And that was not a concession of a game. I think that's a concession though, because the timekeeper is not running the clock. Okay, so they're leaving the field of play. So a very solid start for Team Betts. A rough go of it for Team Stefani.
What's that? Yes,
So as the teams exit the ice,
refuse to sign again.
let's update you on the Sheet B game, and then we'll sign off for now. On Sheet B, the contest between Hernandez of Hollywood and Team Barents of Orange County. Looks like Hernandez responded to Baron's deuce in the fourth with a deuce of their own. They regained a 6-3 lead. And we'll definitely be keeping the scores updated at bonspieler.com. We're going to take a break for now, but we'll be back later at about 3, where the game will be Team Gilbert of Oval Curling taking on Team Chen of Orange County? Yes, Orange County. So do join us then. And so for now, for all of us here at doubletakeout.com, Lake Tahoe, Epic Curling, and MoPac, this is your host Ryan Olson saying so long, good curling, and hopefully see you